All right, now that you caught up on where I'm at and all the things that I've had to replace, all the things that I had to purchase, I'm gonna go ahead and spend a little bit of time with it today while it's nice and cooler outside. I mean, right now in Texas, you know, the sun not beaming. I got a little breeze. As you can see, I got my fan going right there. My Dyson helps keep me cool. It also helps keep them bugs up off of me. So I'm about to go ahead and start going through and continuing my teardown process. We'll see how far I get today. Remember, I don't show everything because this is not a beginner's job. This is a novice, almost to an expert job. You got to know what you're doing if you plan on tackling this type of job. Or watch my videos and be very handy and smart at writing as much down as you possibly can so you don't get confused on where things go.
No more pretending. See it, and if I want it, you know I'ma get it. Cause I'm a hustler, stay on my grind to go get it. Fuck with a nigga saying I ain't fearing no nigga. These lanes be talking, but it be behind my back. Scared to say it to my face, cause they know how I react. Keep a lot of straps so we could throw them hands, you won't do that. So why you talking behind my back? Like you on a strap? Nigga, this ain't no rap. This here is real shit. Got these pussy niggas mad, all up in they feelings. But me, I'm posted up. Got these hoes like I feel them. And one a dime, Polo Nino, yes, I'm him.
For the day, I hope you enjoyed. What's going on, YouTube? This is a continuation video. Like I said, most of my upcoming videos next, unless something else comes up that I attend, it's going to be all videos of me and my Range Rover. I'm doing a head gasket job to my Range Rover. It will be split up into parts because I still work a job, so I can't just work on it every day, all day. Plus, I'm not as young as I used to be, so I can't overwork myself and then be tired or sore for work, right? I still got to make my money. But I'm back now. Last week I was a little sore. For some reason I've been having a lot of inflammation in my elbows, so I'm working on figuring that out. But I'm feeling a lot better today, so we just now getting to part 4. I thought by now I probably would be starting back to assembly, but I'm still in the process of teardown. So I'm gonna show you where I'm at, and I'm gonna show you all the things that I had to purchase so far. The part numbers for a lot of stuff is in the description. Like outside of the tools, just the part numbers for the things you need for the truck, like the timing chain set, the tool for the timing set to lock everything into place, and what else did I have to get for this truck? I believe that is it so far as the major tools that was needed. Oh, the Pcv valve. I'm replacing the Pcv valve also. Trust me, you're going to want to replace it. That's something that does get worn over time. Is really part of a major tune-up. I haven't done a major tune-up to this truck myself since I bought it in 2020. So I only put 20,000 miles on it in 2 years, but you got it all torn down, might as well go back with the best newer parts, especially stuff like that belt. How hard or difficult it is to get to that belt. There's no way I'm putting if I see any signs of where I'm putting those belts back on, there's no way. I almost want to replace the alternator too, just for how difficult it is to get to the alternator. And I know it's an old alternator. I know with a new alternator I should be fine, but I didn't have any issues with this alternator. So somebody done chipped my car. So I'm in the process of pretty much just doing that. So let's get to it. Let me show you where I'm at so far. Alright, if you've been staying in tune with the channel, as you can see, this is the truck. Custom paint job on it. Chameleon painted flip. This is pretty much where I am at. Let me turn on my light so you can see. It's pretty much where I'm at on the truck. I still have to take off this crank pulley, which posed a problem. It's like a hard way, easy way scenario. It's like a hard way, easy way scenario. I like the easy way, so I still haven't pulled that off. And the alternator down over there in the corner is dark. You really can't see it. This hole's black. This hose was blocking it. I don't think I got my drain pan down there. But I'm pulling the alternator coming off. What I realized is I'm gonna have to take the motor mount loose on that side and jack the motor up to remove the alternator. So that's gonna be part of the stuff I have to do at the bottom, which also I have to do the exhaust manifolds. That has to get done at the bottom. Installing the tool for the lock the crankshaft in place has to get installed at the bottom, and that alternator removal for that plate that you can kind of see right down in there. Let me see if I can lift this up. Yeah, that plate that's right there have to be come off, which is part of the alternator plate to finish getting this timing cover off. So today I'm gonna see how far I get. I'm probably not gonna get as far as I would like, but like I say, I'm pacing myself. I have the time to do it, and of course, I want it done right without any added issues. Looks like a big mess, but trust me, you seeing it like this, you're gonna see it all put back together soon. Now on the level of things I actually had to buy, I had to get me some more air tool oil, and you're going to need engine assembly lube. That's going to be used for the timing, when I'm breaking down the timing chain for the cam lobes, for the camshaft period. I'm going to have to lube it all up with all of that, so I had to get that. Also here you see, these just some batteries for my headlight cam. See the 134A. Those are definitely needed because it's a lot easier for my headlight. Believe it or not, I had to buy this extension set. I mean, I thought I had extensions, but you didn't see in the videos, but I didn't have any long extensions. So I was extremely shocked by that, which means somebody been using my tools and not putting them back. I bought this also, as you can see here. This is just the coolant level sensor. My light often came on for that, but I always checked it and it was always full. So I said, you know, why not replace this too, since it's cheap and it was needed. I bossed up and got me this. This is to help take off the crank pulley. This is the easy way, like I was just talking about in the video. It was pricey. I think I caught it on sale for like $210, but that's 1,100 foot-pounds of torque. So that should take any nut off. And I always like the Ingersoll brand, other than most other brands. This is the brand I used to use when I was an automotive mechanic full time, and it worked to perfection. So I needed to add that to my toolbox. I didn't need to, I wanted to. Let me say that. This is the timing chain set. Also in the description, this is everything. I didn't want to leave no opponent non-replaced. This is the chains, this is the tensioners, this is the adjusters, this is everything. The complete whole set. And it was only like $75 on Amazon. So man, Amazon is wonderful, because trust me, I'd have paid a lot more for this if I didn't have Amazon. But that's a must needed set, and I suggest, if you're doing a job this big, to go ahead and replace everything on the timing set. I didn't have any issues with my timing, but if I'm tearing it down, I'm not putting old components back on it. And here's to the final piece. This is the alignment tool. I want to show you what it looks like. I ordered mine from DP2, also on Amazon, and it wasn't that expensive. I think no more than 25-30 bucks for it. And this tool is absolutely necessary. As you see, it got all the things to lock the cam in place so that it doesn't move. This is pretty much, if anybody has done timing before, they got the pins to hold the tensioners in place until you put them back in and pull them out. These are the brackets to hold the camshafts in place, which they have the groove on it. You lock them down in place so they don't move. This tool is absolutely necessary to make the installation of your timing perfect. So everything will be set back to perfection. I highly recommend this tool if you are working on a Land Rover or Jaguar or anything like that with the 4.4 liter motor or more. I'm not sure if you can use it for the 4.2. I'm assuming you can. But these dual overhead cam engines, this is needed for that. You can do it without it, but it won't be perfect. This, I guarantee perfection during removal and during installation. So I had to get that, and it was cheap, like 30 bucks. Only thing I haven't gotten yet was the head gasket set, which the whole set I've been pricing it is about $500. So that's the most expensive component, will be that head gasket set. And I decided I'm not going to get that until I tear it all down, since that's such a big investment. Until I tear it all down, have the heads removed, have them taken to the head shop, and the head shop gives me the okay that the heads are okay, that there's no damage to one of the heads, and I have to find the head and replace it and all that kind of stuff. Then that's when once I tear it down, that's when I'm going to go ahead and buy the head gasket set. So that way every gasket is replaced. I'm going to go ahead and replace all the spark plugs, all this stuff. You might as well do all of those kind of things while the engine is torn down now. So like I was saying before, this is where I'm at on the motor. We'll zoom in a little bit just so y'all can get some idea. Hopefully in this video I should have that crank pulley off. I might go ahead and start taking the valve covers off, maybe. Or I might go ahead and just jack the motor up and try to get that alternator all the way off. AC compressor I didn't take all the way off. I just kind of moved it out of the way. And I did that because my AC blew super cool. So I don't want to have to discharge it and recharge it back up. I want to leave it the way it is. I had no issues with my AC whatsoever, so I don't want to create no issues with my AC whatsoever. But the alternator has to come off so I can get that bracket off. It was a challenge getting the AC compressor off with that bracket still on there. I kind of had to go through the tire well to get that bracket that holds it off out the way. Let me show you what that bracket looks like real quick. Like I said, it's just a brief overview of where I am at now on the vehicle. I'm not going to do too much of an overview, but I'm going to show you kind of where I'm at. No, this wasn't the bracket. This is the bracket for the one of the tensioners. So the bracket must be on the ground. I'm going to have to move this out the way also, just to free up more space, remove more out the way. I'm going to take the upper radiator hose off, since I do have another one. This is the bracket. Previous videos I didn't show anything that you can see. I marked it. I marked pass on there for the passenger side tensioner. This will be the driver's side tensioner, even though it does say left on it. But so there's no confusion, I do it that way. This is the bracket for the AC compressor. It bolts up to the side of the motor like that. The AC compressor bolts onto it with 3 bolts, and then there's 2 bolts that bolt into the block, and then the tensioner wheel goes on it. So I had to take that off. I showed you the water pump and the thermostat housing in the other one. These are all the little tensioners, and I even marked on these. As you can see, lower passenger. I do that because I know it's going to take me time to get this process done, and I want to know where everything goes without any confusion whatsoever. So I just mark it with a permanent marker, right? Only other thing I may replace is that upper belt. I mean the inner belt. The outer belt is pretty much brand new. The inner belt is not badly worn, but if I'm replacing everything, why leave an old one on there, right? It wouldn't make any sense to have to deal with that issue further down the line, and a lot of stuff got to come off just to replace that belt. It's ridiculous. So that's where I'm at. In a minute. All right, YouTube, I'm back. Like I said, I'm gonna stop at critical points. I went on to prop my hood all the way up. It won't stand straight up in my garage, so I use those to prop it in place, just to have more access, so to speak. I decided to remove my coolant. The thing to hold the coolant, I can't even think right now. But I decided to remove that just to free up more space over here. And as you can see, I was able to get more access to my alternator. Now what I want to say about removing this alternator, it won't come all the way out to this point until you remove it don't come out to this point until you unplug it, which it got the plug got a squeeze tab at the top. So you press the top in, you will hear it kind of snap or feel it, and then use your other 2 fingers to pull it out. It's kind of a 3-finger deal to remove it. That bolt right there is a 13. I'm using a long 13 wrench to take that bolt out, and then I should be able to pull the alternator all the way out, and that'll give me access to the 4 bracket bolts that hold the 4 bracket bolts, which is there. That's the ultimate goal right there, is to get that bracket off so I have access to the timing cover. Still haven't been able to remove the balancer yet. I bought a new tool. I don't even think it's good enough, so if it's not, I got to remove the balancer off the hard way, which means locking up the flywheel and twisting it till it loosens, and then I can zip it off. I'll just return that Ingersoll Rand tool. Once that's off, then I can take the timing cover off, then I can take the valve covers off. Only thing to be left is the exhaust manifold gaskets. And I'm deciding on whether or not just to pull a motor out. I'm starting to feel like pulling the motor out may be a good option. It's going to hinder my garage up for a minute. I probably will have to pull my car out and have it parked out just to have that space over there for the engine and maybe an engine stand, so I can break it down, put it back together, whatever, just right on the engine stand and see what's going on with it. Talked to a guy today, very good conversation. One of my subscribers, he emailed me, told me hit him up. He had the same problem, and he had his motor torn all the way down. Young, 17 years old, broke his whole engine down. That's pretty incredible. If you're watching this video, man, that's not a normal thing, man. A lot of 17-year-olds ain't breaking motors down like that. And I know Range Rover Escalade, he had it broken down all the way to the block inside the car. Not pulling it out the easy way, but inside the car. So shout out to him, because that was a very good conversation, insightful conversation. We FaceTime. I got a lot of points from him and issues that he's having. Very common to my issues, so I know if I see that same problem, I probably would unfortunately have to go ahead and buy another motor and just drop another motor in and rebuild this engine myself. Well, the machine shop do the bottom half, and I rebuild it from there, put it all back together and drop it in. So that's where we at on the video. I just wanted to put that as a keynote point about removing this alternator for anybody who having an issue with removing the alternator. I was able to get the AC compressor off, but that long bolt with it in the car, you cannot get that long bolt out without cutting it or bending it. I bent mine, so I don't have to get a new bolt to put that back in, and you got to take the mounts loose and jack it up, so it's a process for that. But I'll keep y'all tuned when I get to that point. But right now, this is where I'm at in a minute. Alright, just wanted to show this real quick before my battery goes dead. I'm going to get in that harmonic balancer off. After a little bit of research, what I found out is that the balancer has a lock ring on it. So a lot of people have been having problems with trying to pull it forward, trying to pull it this way, because it don't go that way. You got to tap it back. And I mean, I tapped on it about 3 or 4 good times, like across, up north, south, east, and west, and as you can see the gap, it's already ready to just pull straight off. So that was real simple. This was the last part. I have one more. I got the alternator off, as you can see. All I got now to do is take 2 more bolts in the back of that bracket off, which in all honesty, you got to move the motor mount out the way in order to do that. And then it's all easy stuff. Valve cover gaskets and valve covers come off, timing cover come off. From there, the 2 exhaust bolts in the back on each side, the rest of the wiring harness. From there is all heads pull off. So I definitely should have the heads coming off, if not today, by tomorrow, but I'm gonna try to go ahead and just break it all the way down today. So that way tomorrow I can shoot it to the head shop. I will show the video, the end part of breaking it off, but I stopped at another pivotal point, which is getting that balancer off, because lots of people struggle with that. And all you got to do is tap it around with a hammer. Slides right off. Back with y'all in a minute. Alright, as you can see, this is where I'm at now. Finishing up my day on this. You can see the timing chain, it's fully exposed now. It actually looks like it's in really good condition. I still will replace it anyway if I don't see any other issues. See, I got the bracket off. See, it's hanging over to the side. Timing cover off, valve cover gaskets off. As you can see. Only thing I have left is the 2 exhaust manifold bolts, which I'm going to soak them with PB Blaster. Well, it's a total of 4 bolts, I believe. And the head bolts. I still am not done. I'm going to take these timer cover brackets off. I'm going to align it. Take these timing cover brackets off. And as you know, to even get to the head bolts, you got to take the cams out. So, let me get some light over here. To even get to those bolts, you got to take the cams out the way to get to the head bolts. So, I'm going to finish breaking down the front. And I'm just going to call it a day and finish up on it tomorrow. So get with y'all in a minute. Alright, YouTube, let me get in some light. Starting to getting late, getting closer to sundown time. And I made some really good progression on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Tomorrow should be the day that I go ahead and pull the heads off. All I have left is taking the camshaft lobes off, well, taking the camshafts out, all 4 of them, and taking the head bolts out and taking the exhaust bolts out. I'm gonna soak the exhaust bolts in oil or in PB Blaster, the 4 exhaust bolts, because those look like they're gonna be a monster to get out. I'm also going to well, that's it. So I got the tool to hold the camshaft, the crankshaft in place through the flywheel. That's locked in place, so the crank not turning, which is good. I got to take the cams out anyway, so I didn't have to lock them in place. But going back in, I have to lock them in place. So I got a fair amount broke down, like I said. So I'm worn out. You can see, you can hear it in my voice. I've been sweating all day and sweating my weight off. It's time for a shower, some good food, and chill out on the couch for a while. So that's where we at as far as parts. What's this, part 3? This might be part 4. So this is part 4 of the head gasket teardown. So by my next video, we should be able to see when I break it all the way down what exactly went wrong and where the problem at, and take my heads to the head shop maybe Monday and get them checked out to see, make sure they good, and just continue on with the process. Once I get it all the way broke down, I would know if I have a engine problem where I need to replace the motor, or if it was just a head gasket problem. So stay tuned. Appreciate the vlog, watching the vlogs. Give it a thumbs up in a minute.